Hello and welcome. Let me ask you something. What's that secret ingredient that turns a good hotel stay into something, well, unforgettable? It's not just about a comfy bed or a stunning lobby. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and really deconstruct the anatomy of a true five-star experience. Really, it all boils down to this one question. I mean, think about it. We've all had that amazing stay that just felt right, didn't we? But what's the actual blueprint behind that feeling? Well, it turns out it's not magic. It's actually a meticulously designed process. And you know what? The answer goes so much deeper than just a friendly smile at the front desk. The absolute best hotels, they put the guest's mind, their perspective, their culture, right at the very center of the experience. They design the whole shebang around a really deep, strategic understanding of their guests. And that concept, that's what we call cultural intelligence. Okay, so here's how we're going to break this all down. First, we'll look at the Global Guest Challenge. Then we'll dive into three key pillars: cultural intelligence, the guest journey, and enhancing service quality. And finally, we'll wrap up with leadership, the keystone that holds it all together. All right, first up, let's really set the stage here by digging into the fundamental challenge that, frankly, every modern hotel is facing today. We're talking about a world of wonderfully diverse expectations. I mean, just picture a hotel lobby. In one corner, you might have a family from Japan, over there, a business traveler from Dubai, and then a couple on vacation from Brazil, all sharing the same space. Now, each one of them arrives with their own kind of cultural programming, right? Their own unique idea of what politeness looks like, or what efficiency means, or even what a friendly smile conveys. And managing that, well, that is the core challenge. So, who's at the very heart of managing all this complexity? It's the front office manager. Think of them as the conductor of an orchestra, or maybe the architect of the entire experience. They're the one guiding the whole team to navigate this complex cultural landscape and to deliver excellence consistently, day in and day out. And that brings us perfectly to our first pillar, the one that directly addresses this challenge: cultural intelligence. Now listen, this isn't just some corporate buzzword. This is the absolute bedrock of modern, world-class service, for sure. At its very core, it all starts with awareness. It's this trained ability to see that every single guest is unique, and then to adapt your service on the fly, without, and this is key, without falling back on assumptions or stereotypes. This is so crucial for preventing misunderstandings and ultimately for making every guest feel truly seen and comfortable. Okay, so check this out, because this is where it gets really interesting. This is how that awareness plays out in actual day-to-day interactions. Take verbal communication. One guest might want a quick, direct answer. Another might prefer a bit more of a chat, to build a relationship. But non-verbally, the differences can be even bigger. A simple gesture, how much eye contact you make, these can mean completely different things across cultures. Top-tier staff, they're trained to read these subtle cues and adjust in real time. And it's really about three essential elements. First, you've got emotional intelligence. That's responding with real empathy and patience, especially to someone who's just had a long flight. Then it's about language, using clear, simple words and even translation tools to make sure nothing gets lost. And finally, it's about a deep respect for individual practices, whether that means accommodating dietary needs, religious practices, or just personal routines. All right, so once you have that cultural foundation locked in, we can move on to the next pillar: architecting the entire guest journey. This is where we zoom out from those individual interactions and look at the whole picture. The key thing to get here is that the guest experience isn't just one single moment. It's more like a chain, made up of every single touch point, from the very first click on the website all the way to that final wave goodbye from the doorman. And every single link in that chain either adds to or subtracts from the guest's overall perception. You can pretty much map this entire journey across three vital phases. First, there's the arrival. This sets the tone, and that first impression is so powerful, you can't overstate it. Then you have the stay itself. Here, consistency is everything. The experience has to feel totally seamless, whether you're talking to housekeeping or ordering room service. And finally, the departure. It's got to be just as smooth, because that's what solidifies the positive memory of the whole visit. Okay, so we've got cultural awareness, and we've designed a great journey. But here's the million-dollar question. How do hotels actually deliver this at a five-star level for every guest every single time? Well, that brings us to our third pillar, which is really the engine of consistency: service quality. And it all starts with what might seem like a surprising mindset. The truly great hotels, they don't fear complaints. In fact, they welcome them. They see complaints as this incredibly valuable source of data, insights that tell them exactly where the system can be improved. They're not failures, they're opportunities. It's a total game changer. And they're gathering this data from everywhere. It's not just that formal survey you get in your email. No, it's about meticulously tracking online reviews, really listening to that direct feedback at the front desk, analyzing all the internal performance metrics, and, maybe most importantly, empowering their own staff to report what they see and hear on the ground every single day. Now, you might be thinking, okay, so technology is the answer to all this, right? And while it's a huge help, the best hotels understand a really critical distinction. Technology is a powerful tool to support the human element, not to replace it. So the real magic is in finding that perfect balance. Look, digital tools are fantastic for efficiency. They can streamline check-in, manage requests, all that stuff. But they can't give you that personal connection that truly elevates an experience. That only comes from genuine empathy, a thoughtful, personalized recommendation, or just a meaningful conversation. And this whole engine of quality, it's powered by a few key interconnected gears, all turning together. You've got continuous training, making sure staff are always prepared for anything. You've got empowerment, which lets them solve problems right there on the spot. You've got personalization, using guest data to make each stay feel unique. And then you have these rock-solid procedures holding it all together, guaranteeing absolute consistency. Okay, so we've built our 3 pillars: cultural intelligence, the guest journey, and service quality. They're all there. But what stops them from just falling apart? What locks them all into place and makes them strong? That's our final piece of the puzzle: leadership. The leader, and specifically that front office manager we mentioned, they act like the keystone in an arch. You know, that one stone at the very top that holds everything else together? Their attitude, their professionalism, their commitment to excellence, it all cascades down to every single member of the team. They don't just manage, they model the behavior they expect to see. And that just shows you how multifaceted their role really is. I mean, they're a culture setter for the team. They're a collaborator, making sure every department works as one cohesive unit. They're a data analyst, driving improvements based on that feedback we talked about. And they have to be a forward thinker, always keeping the entire operation ready for whatever the future holds. And you know, all of this brings us to one final kind of provocative thought. In an age where AI and automation are streamlining, well, pretty much everything, could it be that the very things we've talked about today, real empathy, deep cultural intelligence, and genuine human connection, are becoming the new ultimate luxury? Maybe the rarest and most valuable form of it? It's definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive.